Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us join this event. We are betting big on HANA. And the reason we're betting big on HANA is we produce a series of applications delivered and consumed in the cloud. So when we see HANA available in the cloud, that is so intriguing to us. We also have customers like Morgan Stanley and American Express who have very, as you can imagine, extreme data privacy issues, and they want HANA on site. But what we've done is we've effectively made a commitment that we're going to provide the IP in a turnkey, productized, industrialized way with HANA enabling and accelerating that. And if you think about what we're going to do, we're going to show you what we do as a company, and we're going to show you how we did this at Morgan Stanley. I think you're going to be amazed at what's possible. Because we're not talking about incremental innovation. What we're really talking about and what we're doing now is exponential in every sense of the word. And HANA plus Signal Hubs, our technology, allows the computers to do something they've never done before. They're not spitting out numbers. They're having conversations. They're doing what we call man plus machine. They're speaking to us. The problem is, in our solutions, without HANA, they speak. They just don't speak very fast, right? They stutter. It's a long time between conversation points. HANA makes that a flowing, vibrant conversation. We're going to show you that. So who are we? We are 700 people, 8 years old. We have 230 data scientists that work for us to build these data science models, these algorithmic models. So I like to say, was talking to a CEO last week, he says, you guys just don't have a team of data scientists, you have a league, right? So Google has 300 data scientists by comparison. These scientists take these models and these signals and put them into a repeatable, scalable, industrialized capability called a Signal Hub. And we do this for global markets, for marketing, for the military, for defense, lots of different use cases. We call this the vector platform, which is this idea of delivering the turnkey results. We don't do the data. You're not going to get a bunch of reports. You're actually going to get a machine that comes back and says, take this directed action, right? Here are some of our customers in the marketplace. We're going to talk today about Morgan Stanley. We've won several of these contests. For example, Netflix, which was, can you increase the recommendation and the stickiness of our customers for you watch this movie, can you improve our recommendation by double digits? So we came in first and second in that. You can go out and look at that. We did a Heritage Health. If you guys here are in healthcare, you admit a patient, and then when do you discharge him if he's a heart patient? So there's contests for this. KDD is another data science contest. So these are our customers. And I want to stress all these companies have world-class analytics teams, but they don't have the ability to get the next level of innovation. And we think the next innovation level is this. Companies in this room, every company in this room, has spent literally tens and hundreds of millions of dollars on your internal architecture, your internal innovation. And I spent the last 7 years as an SAP employee, so I've worked with many of you. And I can tell you that we have organized our data internally to the nth degree. We have master data. We have every kind of data you can name. The reality is the world has changed. All of that data in all those nice refrigerators and all those data warehouses now represents less than 5% of the data that's actually available. The other 95% lives outside your four walls, right? And it's mixing the triangulation of the data you have with all the data you don't have to come up with a view of your customer, come up with a view of your supplier. One of the things we do is we go into a company that has spend analytics, and we use HANA for this too. And we say, here's a category of spend where you're getting 5% savings a year. Are you able to look at every line item and every invoice in real time? Are you able to see overnight what was bought off contract and off SKU for each line item and invoice across literally millions of dollars of spend? No. So then we can do 20% because we can triangulate outside and inside the four walls. Same basic technology, same data science models. 90% of the world's data has been created in the last 2 years. It's going to double again in the next year and in the next 6 months after that. So there is no capability inside your business currently for managing that data outside the four walls. That's what a Signal Hub does. It looks for signals. Signals are not data. It's a point in time. I was talking to a hotel company about a week ago, And he said, well, we do all this. We have campaign management software. We have customer software. I said, it's really simple. You are one chain, which will go unnamed, and I stay 200 nights a year in another chain. How do you know when I'm not happy because I had to pay for wireless internet and I had to pay for parking and I was dissatisfied with breakfast? That's a point in time where you can come and make me an offer. And you have no capability of knowing if I'm happy or not. But at that point in time, I am the perfect person to come and get and switch to your chain, right? That's a signal. A signal says, here's something. With the government, we have a solution for threat assessment that says this person is looking at these sites and then looking at those sites. Therefore, this is questionable activity. Go get that person. If it's American Express and fraud, we're looking for fraud, bust out, compromise. We're looking for people who get a credit card, pay on it, and then who starts buying jewelry at a rapid pace over the next few days. It's things that are easily sold. We're looking for signals across these data feeds, and they're outside the four walls. So how do we get to this idea of directed action? You take those signals from external feeds, plus your data internally, you mix it to find the signals, and then you have to apply something called an ensemble data model, something that says, we will take those signals, run it through not one model or 10 models or 100 models, but literally millions of models across these classes and say, here is the opportunity. Here are the directed actions. So I want to show you an example of that at Morgan Stanley. Just to give you some idea of the scope of the problem, massive volumes of disparate data, 4.5 million accounts, 60 months of performance history, 10 terabytes of data easily, not counting the external feeds, 8 external and internal feeds all coming together at once, 2.5 billion computations a day to get to one answer, which is what stock should this person in this portfolio, this particular customer, what should they buy and what should they sell? You think it's an easy question. I mean, think about, does anyone here have a financial advisor? Do you think they do the Ouija board? Do you think they do tea leaves? Does anybody know? I mean, does it quants? I mean, think about the volumes of information that have to come through here, right? And then how successful are they? What's the risk tolerance? Has this person, been good with this particular asset class and this stock? There's all these different management classes and assets as well, right? Advisors, they're just like you. They're human people. They have kids and dogs and ball games and all the things they have to go to, and they're overloaded. They have 100,000 products and 80 sources from which to buy it. So you know what they do? Typically, they go, well, this one works out for me, so I'll sell the hell out of that one, right? And then all of a sudden it works until it doesn't work anymore. And then all of a sudden they go, right? So the question is, how do you get performance consistent? How do I twin and profile and figure out this works because of this asset class, because of this mix, because of this risk tolerance, because of how this is divergent? The answer is you can't. It's literally billions and billions of computations that have to happen instantly using those data streams outside the four walls mixed with what's inside the four walls. Is this making sense? Perfect risk case for HANA and Signal Hubs. So at Sapphire, we built this prototype. We're going to show you the prototype. We won't go through all those questions, but you can read them. And if you want to see this demo over again, it's up here in the pod in the top left of the stage. But what I want to show you here is an idea of exactly how this works in real time. We took the internal and external feeds, looking for those signals around account, advisor, product, position performance, risk tolerance, asset management, class of assets, as well as external investment research. How's this thing performed over the last 3 years? All of that formed what we call DNA, which is a subset. So we literally took something like 100 terabytes and compressed it into about 2 terabytes. But each of those terabytes had the, if you will, the DNA for those classes. We then pushed that in the hub, and we came out the other side with a directed action. And we pushed this to the financial advisor across 1 million transactions a day, 3 million active accounts, 24 months of historical history, 8 terabytes total data, and it says refresh the processing window of 3 hours. That's very generous. It's more like 2 days. I won't lie to you, right? So the idea is, at the end of the day, the machine speaks and says, buy that stock. We have a 98% belief, if you take this action, you will get that result. Is this making sense to everybody? Okay. So this is the application, and we'll show you in a second. This is actually Wall Street Journal did an article on it on Monday. I'll show you the article. And it comes up and it shows this. It says, here's the heat map. So for this particular FA, which means financial advisor, I'm a branch manager. Here's this problem. Robert Rivers has got a lot, $123 million of assets under management. That's what AUM means. And he's got, across all his customers, 21 accounts, he's down 1.54%, which means he isn't getting it done, right? So what do? Well, we pop up this, and the machine says, hey, you know what? Hey, Robert, call Sally Smith. Tell Sally Smith to recommend a purchase of 3,200 shares of this fund. Oh, by the way, you need to sell that stock because it's in the fixed income class. There's a 97% chance of probability of success. And he just gets on the phone and reads this and says, if you take these actions, we believe you're going to get an approximate lift in your portfolio of 1.5%. How does that work? Because of all of this data coming together in one time in one spot. Now, let me show you exactly what this looks like in the demo, because as I said, the conversation is that we can do that. It's a hell of a trick. The problem is it's a trick that takes 2 days to 2.5 days to turn. Right? You got to churn through billions of portfolios, literally trillions of possibilities, $1.7 trillion of assets under management. Now think about that. Our minds don't even go there, right? So what do we need? We need HANA. We need HANA to make it work. We need advisor performance. We need greater revenues through asset growth. We need to be able to do this quickly. We need to be able to do all of these data models in seconds. And you may or may not have heard that much about it, but HANA actually has not just a data staging capability, it has a algorithmic layer that we're leveraging as well. So I want to show you how this works in the demo live, but behind the scenes for the geeks in us all, right? Here's how it works. We bring those sources in, we connect and route them, we clean them through something we call intelligent ETL, where we're extracting the signals, driving out the DNA. We come in and create those variables, we drive our signal library, we train the models, we do all those things. That goes back into HANA as an offline signal calculation and fast signal calculation, all running sub-second, real-time in HANA. Those signals are then stored, pushed out with the scores that we showed you, and then you can use them across all the different application models that we have making use of HANA. Now, what I want to do here is show you what HANA's done for us. It's done 3 big things. The first thing is we had this on 8 different servers all batched around. Now it's in one environment, one platform, one server, one environment for models, for signal calculation, one place, one simple piece of work. So the complexity is gone. That's huge. That's huge because the models learn, the models grow. So now that closed loop between the first run and the 5 millionth run is literally happening in minutes or a couple days, where it was happening much further than that. The next one, of course, is performance improvement. We talked about 2 days we'll show you what it comes down to in just a second. It's about 30 to 45 seconds. And then the idea is this embedded analytic functionality. There's actually a layer there where we've put k-means clustering. We're beginning to use this, and we're beginning to explore L as well. So for those of you that are down in the weeds of the analytic and the algorithmic piece, we put the k-means clustering, and that rapidly gives us the ability to predict attrition, higher accuracy, and the filtering, right? Because those scores come from what you don't use, right? So here's an assumption. Can I use it? No, get rid of it. Here's an assumption. Can I use it? No, get rid of it. So we don't give the advisor 500 recommendations. We give them 5, the 5 that move the needle the most, right? To get Robert Rivers from the red to the green. So with that, I'll flip over to the demo and just show you exactly how this works. And let's hope it works live. This is always like a high wire walk to do a demo, right? So here I'm at the demo, and I see I'm Dwayne Weber for the next minute, and I look at my performance, and you can see that what I've got under management here is I've got quite a few performance assets under management. Here you can see I've got, in this case, $87 million under management, 39 active accounts. They're spread out across different age classes, different asset classes. So what we've done is this is actually running live on the Co-Innovation Lab with SAP. So we're logged in through VPN live to the Co-Innovation Lab at SAP. This is a live running demo. And if I go over here to my accounts, what you will see is that same heat map, only this is in the Co-Innovation Lab. and you'll see, and we anonymize this. We don't tell everybody what everybody's making and who their customers are, right? We don't do that. So you can see the heat map, and you can see who the size represents the size of the box, and the color represents whether they're making money or those guys in the red they should probably do something, right? So over here on the right, you see how they work. I want to show you now. Remember, this took 2.5 days prior to HANA, right? So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say, okay, this investor, this analyst has just made a recommendation, and we're going to say, he said, buy BAC, right? So it's simple stock, buy BAC. Now that's going to run in HANA real time. It's going to go back through every single one of these accounts. It's going to look at their asset class, their risk tolerance, their history, their mix, what have they bought in the past, what's their opportunities to do this. And in 30 seconds in this case, it's applied what we call a treatment across all of those portfolios, where they buy, how they buy, so that it comes back and says, here, you need to call Sally Smith and tell her to buy this stock. So you can see some of these have turned red, some of these have not been touched. And HANA's driven that calculation across all these. So if I click that one, it's green. It didn't do anything to it. Why? Because BAC is a financial stock. If I click a red one, you can see from the mix here that this person has a mix of stocks which include financials, which lay a land. So it looks and it says, based on the percent of your stock, based on what you've done in the past, based on your success, based on what you think about that particular analyst, here's the results. So what it's done effectively, if we could come back to the I'm done with the demo. If you go back to the last slide, please. Backstage. Flip it over. There we go. We're getting there. All right, good deal. The result was we moved to a single environment. Instead of those 6 servers, we moved it to 1. And we took real-time event processing and we collapsed it from 2 days to under 45 seconds. Now, in hard dollars, think about that. That conversation where the machine speaks and it says, take this action, that used to be a 2-day conversation. It's now a less than a minute conversation, right? So what's the potential? This is real. This is real-world opportunity for your customers and your business. What we do at Opera is we provide those turnkey applications for data science, and with HANA, those conversations that come out of that Signal Hub are now sub-second. You can see the quote here from Jeff McMillan. There's a full site at signalhubs.com if you want to see how we work with HANA together. And there's also a Wall Street Journal article, which if you want to read this, you can pull that up and take a look at it. I want to sum up what I think are the big wins, what we've learned through our relationship so far, and we're still deepening that relationship. Unmistakable customer impact and hard dollar value. There are other vendors who want to work with us. Some of them start with an O. And the reality is that you have to have a paradigm shift, because now the data is the application. Does this make sense? Everything you just saw there didn't happen because we wrote Java code. It didn't happen for anything other than the ability to take all those raw data, unstructured sources, many of which Morgan Stanley doesn't even have ownership of. They live in the cloud. They're owned by other people. Bring that in, mix it with their data, and come up with a series of answers based on data science algorithms. So the game has changed, and you have to have an innovative architecture to make that work. You can't do it in a schema in a database. You can't build a data warehouse fast enough. Live at Sapphire, we showed you this. Large batch ETL jobs, we put them into fast batch and real-time execution, basic machine algorithms and k-means. Where we are now is real-time transaction event processing. Some of the things we're doing with the government, we think I have a real application here as well as financial services, as well as banks and other things. And where we're heading is this idea of user-defined functions, putting it more of an SDK for customers, as well as looking at the roadmap of other capabilities that are going to be resident inside of HANA. So we're learning those things together. I'll finish up with this idea, which was I was, sitting with my kids the other day, and I was flipping through YouTube, and someone found a lost interview with a guy named Steve Jobs. 25 years ago, he's being interviewed for a program, and it was a program about what he thought the future would be. And he made a very interesting statement. He said, the challenge is adapting to change. And he said, you can't change your organization hierarchically. You can't change who reports to who fast enough. You can't change geographically because people live where they live. But you can rapidly assemble people against a set of data for a specific purpose, blow that up, and do it again every 15 minutes. And I thought that's exactly the future of business. We have been building purpose-built applications, and SAP as an innovator is now saying, no. The purpose now is to take all of the legacy, all the heritage of the applications we've given you, and explode that into a new capability for consuming all this information in a new way. In other words, giving you the ability to rapidly adapt your organization in ways you could not do it before because the data is now unlocked horizontally. And what Opera does is take that, consume it, chew it with our models, and spit out the directed actions. So it's a perfect partnership. It's an excellent opportunity for you to explore anything we can do to help you grow your business. And I just want to say thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you today. Thank you.